I was able to go outside without a jacket to chase my cat today, so that was a plus. But it is also February 16th, which in the States is Mardi Gras, so happy Fat Tuesday. And actually it has a lot of history, which is connected to Indigenous people in the area, and also a way of welcoming, you know, the French and the Black communities together. So it has this big sense of camaraderie and fellowship and community and fun and sharing of food. It's very similar to the way that we would have potlatch, they would have Mardi Gras. So I wish I could learn more about it. When I was in the States, I learned a little bit about it, but not a lot, because I didn't actually have the opportunity to go down to Mardi Gras to Louisiana. But I'm hoping someday I can, when things are a lot less crazy. I think it's important to learn from many different places, many different people, because that's really how you can carve out your place in the world. So that being said, speaking of places, I'd like to start with the land acknowledgement. Just acknowledging where we are. Our sense of place, I think, is really, really important, and we need to continue to do that. We need to make it part of our daily practice. You know, wake up and just acknowledge this is the ancestral territory of wherever you are. So here in Treaty 7, it's the ancestral territory, the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Pagani, the Sarsi which are from Tsutsina, and the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bears Paw, and Wesley First Nations. We're also walking in the footsteps of Métis Region 3, so I proudly wear my Métis sash to act as that bridge between Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. And I see my sister has commented, hi! I was thinking about you this weekend, Sandra. We were marching for the Valentine's Day Memorial March, and it's hard every year. I mean, this year it was really cold, so it was hard in a physical sense, but it really does just bring together community to be able to heal together and to be able to share those stories of the people that we have lost, to be able to share those songs and those traditions and, you know, our prayers in order to support those families that are hurting, but also to be able to keep pressure on, you know, our government, to be able to keep pressure on our politicians, to be able to keep pressure on the police to actually look for justice. So that's so, so important. And I see Shane. Hi, Shane. And so I wanted to welcome everybody before we start into the circle today by sharing the Cree welcome song. Traditionally, when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little bit different. We actually sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end, no one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the Hoop of Life. So it teaches us to take care of each other and to really honor each other for those differences, because everybody is so unique and beautiful in their own way, and we lose something if we try to compare ourselves to others, or if we try to be somebody we're not. We're not only taking away the awesomeness that, you know, we can be, but we're taking away that piece that is necessary in our community, that gift that we have to gift back to community. And it's our sense of place, it's our sense of self, and it's important to acknowledge that, and to acknowledge that everyone has the right to have that, has the right to share, you know, the gifts that they have, and it really enriches our society, it enriches our communities, and nobody's going to be exactly the same. There's no such thing as normal. Normal is boring. Nobody wants to be boring. And so when I sing this song, I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that we're all equal. We're all together in this circle. When we say all my relations, it's the plants in the circle, it's the animals, it's the rocks, it's the wind, it's the water, and of course, it's all of us, the two-leggeds. We're all together in that circle. And so this song brings everyone in. The reason we sing it in 3 rounds is to keep it open so that you can come and go as you please within that circle, as most circles should be. Nothing should be rigid, it should always be fluid. I honor the Not the How family from Sturgeon Lake for bringing this song and this story forward, because for many generations it was illegal for us to speak our languages, to share our stories, to share our songs, to practice any of our ceremonies, to even smudge, which is such a huge part of my daily life. I couldn't imagine not smudging. It would be awful. So, but the fact that a lot of our practices have remained, and our languages have remained and are starting to make a resurgence, which is awesome, and people are actually making that effort to relearn their language. It's such a gift to be in the time that we're in now, and it shows us exactly how resilient a people can be. And this song honors that. I honor the family for keeping this song. because it does welcome everybody into the circle. And so Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. I'm going to stand up to sing, and my girl's playing a video game in the other room, so you might hear her occasionally. Miasin, Miasen, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasen, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino, Miasin, Miasen, Hasemina, Hasemina, Epetakote, Niwagomagan, Hota, Homa, Kitaskino. Hi, and welcome to the circle today, everybody. So I'm going to, I haven't talked about my medicines in a few weeks just because it's, been really busy and I wanted to teach a lot more women's songs, but I think it's time to talk about my medicines again because I missed them. And I think it's really important just to acknowledge, I have them laid out all the time and I use them every day, but it's important just to acknowledge and just say how much you appreciate things. I think everything in life, if you approach it with gratitude, it makes life so much more livable and so much better. And so I'm going to share a little bit of medicine wheel teachings. I go really in depth with medicine wheel teachings in certain situations, but there's certain things, that you're invited in to teach. And then it's almost like there's different layers, like a cake. There's different layers, there's that top layer, that surface layer, the icing on the cake, which everybody has access to. And then as you dig a little deeper, you learn more about the medicines. You learn more about their purpose, the stories behind them, the teachings behind them, and how you can use them in specific ceremonies. But of course, we're only scratching the surface, and I think that's really important to acknowledge that there are so much more teachings that you can learn from many, many different elders, many, many different knowledge keepers. And so when I share, I can only share what I know, but it's also acknowledging that, I don't know everything. Not everybody knows everything. Even people who are experts in their field, they don't know everything. It's a constant evolution. It's constantly learning. And I think if you don't learn, you don't grow, and you need to grow to be able to continue to live. And so that being said, when I share my teachings, I share OG Cree teachings, and so they might make sense to you, they might not, that's okay. This is why we have oral traditions and oral storytelling. Whatever's meant for us, we'll remember, and whatever's not, won't take up space in our brain. Not gonna be a test, you're gonna be okay. And so with OG Cree, we start in the east, and we go to the south, the west, and then to the north. So we actually follow the sun. Clockwise is the way the sun goes. Trying to explain that to kids, it's like, this is why the clock goes the way it does. It's because this is the way the sun goes. But that's just in Blackfoot, a lot of prairie people, that's what we do, is we, we follow the sun. Whereas in Mohawk country, for example, where they're the people of the lakes, the sky is reflected in the Great Lakes, and so they go the other way. And so they're following the sun, but they're following the reflection of the sun. And so it's not right or wrong, it's just different. So you have to find the teachings that work for you. And so that being said, I'm just going to do a quick little crash course before I burn my medicines. So in the east, I have sweetgrass, and sweetgrass is on my medicine wheel, connected to the color yellow. It's about our mind. It's the morning. We have grandfather sun in the east because he rises in the morning to greet us. It's the power of fire because he's a big ball of fire. And it really helps us guide our mind. It's connected to our childhood because when we're kids, we actually learn the most. And so it's really about acknowledging, how we see the world, how we perceive the world, but also understanding how the world works, and asking questions. It teaches us how to ask questions and to always think things through, make better decisions. Sweetgrass helps us make better decisions. So whenever I want to make a decision, or whenever I'm really have a lot of anxiety, or even like if I can't sleep, I'll have sweetgrass in a tea because it's really great. It helps with my insomnia hugely, but it also helps with focus. And so I burn it when I'm about to check my emails, because sometimes I get really overwhelmed with my email, or when I'm trying to make a decision, because it makes us think about our 7 generations behind, our 7 generations yet to be born, but also reminds us that we're someone's ancestor. And so every decision that we make is going to impact someone. So we need to think it through fully and completely. And so that's what our mind's for, is for helping us weigh those options, but not to get wrapped up in our mind, because if we get wrapped up in our mind, we'll get trapped. So that's east, that's sweetgrass, that's the morning, that's our childhood, and it's also the masculine energy, because we have masculine energy of grandfather sun in the east, feminine energy of grandmother moon in the west, and so that's that balance. We always have to have that balance, because that's what the medicine wheel is. It's balance and moderation. And so we're going to travel to the south, and in the south I have cedar. Cedar is wonderful for grounding, whether it be grounding energy, you can throw it into a fire. It's really good for cleansing air as well. All of the medicines are really good for cleaning air when you burn them. Cedar, awesome for if you have it in tea. Don't have a lot, just a little bit, like a cup a week. That'll cure what ails you. But it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's got tons and tons of vitamins and minerals in it. And so it's good for maintaining good health, but also if you feel a cold or cough or something coming on, you can actually have a big, huge cup of cedar tea. Just boil it on the stove for like 10 to 15 minutes until it pulls all the stuff out. Strain it. Don't chew on it, because it takes forever to like go through your system, and it's super, super strong, so you don't need very much. So don't chew on it. Also, don't swallow it. It tastes awful, but it works like Buckley's. So, but it really does help. So I haven't been full on sick in several years, because anytime I even feel a little bit, I'll just have some cedar tea. If you have sore muscles, joints, aches and pains, boil it, throw in your bath. It's just phenomenal for your body. It teaches us to honor our body, honor the relationship that we have to the earth, and because it's a reciprocal relationship, we breathe with the earth. When we exhale, the plants inhale, and vice versa. When we give back to the earth, it will give back to us. So it reminds us always to give something before taking, so that we keep that cycle going. It's all a cycle, all a circle, and to respect the relationship that we have with the earth. In the west, we have sage. I was almost out. I used quite a bit of sage this weekend, but I'm very thankful because I was gifted sage. Thank you so much, Jason. Really appreciate that. And so I will definitely be using that today. I was like, oh no, I'm never going to have sage again. No. I always overpick in the summer when I go sage picking, and in the spring and in the fall. But I always run out because I use a lot. And so sage is the women's medicine. It's in the west. It's connected to grandmother moon. Grandmother moon controls the tides, so she pushes the tides in and out. So that's that water. It helps that water cycle. It teaches us about our emotions, how our emotions are liquid. This is why when we get frustrated or upset, we cry, we leak from our face. But it also teaches us to honor our emotions when they come, because that's what connects each and every one of us. So and it's beautiful whenever we're feeling emotional, you smudge with sage and you feel amazing. Not only that, but it cleans the air, which is any of the medicines clean the air. And so sage reminds us of honoring our place in community, reminds us how to connect to people, but also like the moon waxes and wanes, it teaches us it's okay to give, but we also have to remember to take care of ourselves. So to give back to ourselves and to receive. Don't be afraid to ask for things when you need them. Just like we're not afraid when people ask us for things and we give. So it's got to be that cycle back and forth. And the moon teaches us that. She teaches us how to wax and wane. She teaches us how to honor women's teachings because we have 28 days in our moon cycle, just like her. And sage helps us to do that. It helps us to really honor our emotions, honor our connection to, Mother Earth and to our feminine energy, but also to ourselves, to our emotions. So I'll be using that today. And then in the north, we have tobacco. Tobacco is a symbolic medicine. So even though we call it a medicine, we don't actually take it into our bodies. We use it to smudge with, we use it to gift to people, we use it to give back to the earth because it is high in phosphorus, potassium, and nitrogen. So it actually helps plants grow back faster whenever we do harvest our medicines and give back to the earth, always leaving the roots of the plant in the ground. We give tobacco back and it helps the plant grow back faster, but it also has enzymes in it that keep bugs off. So it's really good. Whenever I put it in my garden is amazing. I forgot half my garden this year to put tobacco in, and that half didn't grow. The other half that I did put tobacco in grew amazingly. So this is my gardening tip, is tobacco. And asking that earth and asking those plants to grow for you. But now is the season for this. This is red willow bark. I just picked this recently, actually. And we wait until the winter to pick red willow because the medicine is actually in the roots of red willow, and so when the ground freezes, it pushes all of the medicine out of the roots and into the branches. This is why red willow bark is really vibrant red in the winter, because it's saying it's ready to be picked. And so because we've had this cold snap, I'm actually looking forward to going back on the land because now the earth is officially frozen, and just harvesting a little bit to get me through this year. And it's awesome because this one, if we're doing a 4 directions tea, we can actually bring this into our body. It's antimicrobial, which is awesome. So it gets rid of bugs and water and different things. It's also an anti-inflammatory. It's great for headaches, aches, and pains. It's awesome. So whenever I feel a migraine coming on, I actually have Kinsasa or Kennebec, or the red willow bark in cedar tea, or in tea, and it actually chases away my migraines. I haven't had a full-on migraine in over a decade, because anytime I start to feel it a little bit coming on, I have the red willow bark tea, and phenomenal. It's been amazing. So that's just like a quick little breakdown of the medicines. And we are going to smudge. And I'm just going to explain the smudge bowl that I have and what I'm going to be doing. This is a public smudge bowl. So I use it when I'm smudging in public for demonstrations or to invite community in. I have a smaller one, which is my personal, and then I have a ceremonial bowl that I use when I'm specifically in ceremony. So I have 3. I feel like one's going to be gifted to me soon for something, so I know I probably have some responsibilities coming to me soon, but I want to get a fast out of the way beforehand. So yeah, just because I want to be in a good place, just because I've had many surgeries and I've got a lot of healing, physical healing to do. I've worked through all of my emotional stuff, but the physical healing that I need to do to prepare myself for the responsibilities ahead, I have to get that physical stuff out of the way, and fasts help with that. So this is of course my smudge bowl, and so we have all 4 directions represented in the bowl. We have the shell itself, which represents water. Not everybody's going to have shell. You might have a hollowed out rock, you might have just a little box with sand in it, and you can put your medicines in the middle and burn it so it doesn't catch fire. Some people will put it on a charcoal, some people will have it on a plate, some people have it in what are those called? Like cast iron skillets, little cast iron frying pan. So everybody has different ways of carrying it forward. It's not right or wrong, it's just different. So you find what works for you and what works for your teachings, and that's what you use. So it's the wonderful thing about these teachings is they're not rigid. They're meant for you to discover your path, and so this is why it's important. The medicine I have a little bit of sage left in there. I'm going to add a little bit more. But no matter what we put in, as soon as it goes into the bowl, it's considered earth because it grows from the earth. Oops. Ah. And it goes in my lap, apparently. So, adding that. Lovely, lovely sage. I'm only using sage today. I'm Cree, so I typically use a lot of sage. But I'm in Blackfoot territory. So whenever I'm in Blackfoot ceremony, they tend to use a lot of sweetgrass. So whenever I'm gifting to Blackfoot elders, I tend to gift a lot more sweetgrass, whereas Cree elders, I tend to give a balance of the sweetgrass as well as the sage. So it just depends, because what are you going to use a lot more of? It depends on your teachings, and it depends on where you're from. And so that goes into the bowl, so that's earth. When we light it on fire, that represents fire. And then the smoke going up to creator represents air. But before we start, I'm just going to take my earrings off. Metal holds energy, so I don't want to hold on to any energy. I can't talk today. So I want it to all let go, because smudging is our way of letting things go and inviting what we need in our life, letting go of the things that we don't need in our life. It's really about, praying, honoring our whole being. So it's honoring our mind, our heart, our physical body, and then our spirit that kind of fuels the whole thing, which is in line with the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. So that being said, I'm going to put this over here so it's still in camera. I'll put this back over there. There's no right or wrong way to smudge. It's whatever feels good to you. And so I'm going to do a long smudge. Ooh, but I like to smudge every day. My room always smells really nice because I do smudge every day. I should go smudge in my son's room because he's smelling a little ripe in there. But smudging actually cleans the air. It detoxifies the air, so it gets rid of airborne toxins like viruses, fungus, bacteria, anything that's impure in the air. It also ionizes the air and pH balances the air, so it's actually better for the room. So it's all around a great practice. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean my hands so that anything I'm carrying I get rid of. Then I'm going to bring it over my body 4 times. Honor the 4 directions in my body. And like I said, this is just the way I smudge. You can smudge in any way you so choose. So my kids, they'll just smudge their mind, their heart, their belly button, because that's where your spirit is, and then their whole being, and then they're like, bye, Mom. Well, they'll say thank you, and then they'll leave. So I'm going to smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path. Also, so I can be open-minded, not rigid with my thinking. Because if you're rigid, you can't learn, you can't grow. I smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages that Creator sends me. So I can be, so I can remember to listen twice as much as I speak. So the teachings of the chickadee. And I'm also very thankful for my hearing. I smudge my eyes so I can see all of the beauty Creator has put around us. Very thankful for my vision this lifetime, so my vision remains clear and open, and I approach everything with an open heart and open eyes. I smudge my nose so I can smell danger and cookies. Also, we have to honor all of our senses. I smudge my mouth so I can speak only true and kind words that are helpful and benefit mankind. I always ask myself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? If it's none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. I'm very thankful for my words this lifetime. Smudge my throat because I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, so I can continue to give voice to the voiceless. I honor my singing voice as well as my loud voice. My great-grandfather always said, I have a loud voice, so I have to use it. So, and that was when I was little. I was 5 and I was always loud. So I was like, that's not right. So, but his memory is still with me, even though I was quite young when he passed. I smudge my heart so I can remember to be kind and compassionate and show unconditional love to all of those that cross my path. to my family, to my friends, to my acquaintances, people I see in community, but also those I have yet to meet. And also to remember to be gentle with myself. I smudge my stomach, so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. Very thankful for the food I eat this day. May abundance be offered to everyone else. I smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. I'm a two-spirit woman, but very proud to be in this body. Smudge my belly button so I honor my spirit and remind myself that my intuition speaks to me for a reason. Never doubt it. Smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air to remember the sacred breath that we all share. I smudge my shoulders and my back so I can remember to carry all of the responsibilities that Creator's gifted me with grace and humility. I smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I smudge my legs so I can walk this red road in a good way. And I smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her and honoring her with every step. And then if there's anywhere else in your body that you need a little extra love, so for example, my hips are always hurting, so I always smudge my hips. Like every day I smudge my hips. I always smudge my lungs because of my asthma, especially in the winter, but I also boil cedar on the stove and breathe that in, and it really does help with my asthma. So, you know, my neck's a little funky, my shoulder's a little funky today, so I'm going to smudge that. But if there's anywhere in your life that is suffering, is going through something, and maybe you just miss them and you really want to send that love and appreciation to them, hold them in your heart and just smudge for them. And it can be, you know, your friends that maybe some of their family members, you want to send that love and appreciation, those prayers to them, or that intention. That's all prayers are, just intention. You can set it as intention. And when you're all done, you can say hi, or magwitch, or merci, or thank you, or gracia, or xie, or dankeschön, however you say thank you in your language. And then we are quite done. So I'm going to put that over there. And I let it burn out. Again, it does clean the air in my room, so it always smells so much better in here. But I'm going to start with a song. I was actually thinking of the Creator song, so I'm going to share a story and then I'm going to share the song. So this story, I've shared it before, but I haven't shared it in a really long time, so I wanted to share it. So this story is about our spirits, how we got our spirits. And before we came, the animals had many, many different things. They've always had their sense of spirit. They've known who they are. They know what they're good at, what they're not good at. And they really don't have to discover much, because as soon as they come into this world, they know exactly, well, I'm a bear. This is what I do. This is how I teach the two-leggeds how to be on the earth. Or I'm a mouse. This is what I teach to the two-leggeds. Or I'm a raven. I play tricks on the two-leggeds. You know, so they know exactly, you know, their sense of being, their sense of self, and their sense of teaching. And we are different because we have to learn what our spirit is meant to do, what our spirit is meant to be, and how our spirit is meant, you know, to really translate to the world. But in order to do that, we have to find it. We have to go on a mission to really, it's called soul searching for a reason, because we have to search for our soul. And so when Creator was trying to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to be able to make it hard for these two-leggeds to find their spirits, to find their soul, so that, you know, they're actually putting the work in to discover what their path is. And so the mole was like, well, we could dig deep, deep, deep into the earth and we could bury their spirits in the earth. And Creator said, no, that won't work, because eventually they'll be able to dig deep into the earth and they will be able to get their spirits. So that won't work. So other animals, they started chatting, and then the goat said, well, why don't we fly up to the highest mountain, or jump up to the highest mountain and just leave it up in the mountains? And Creator said, no, they'll be able to climb all of those mountains. They are going to be very, very intuitive, but they're also going to be very creative with how they honor the earth. And then one of the animals thought, well, what about within the mountain? We could hide it within the mountain. Their spirits would be safe within the mountains. And Creator said, no, one day they will be able to dig through the mountains, and they will crumble the mountains at their feet, and they will lose their spirits forever. And so the animals started thinking again, well, what else could we do? And the bear thought, well, what about we could give it to the fish and let the fish swim deep into the deepest part of the ocean so that they could hide their spirits there. And Creator thought, no, eventually those two-leggeds will come up with a way to reach the bottom of the ocean, so that won't work. And so all of the animals started racking their brain, and then the eagle said, well, I can fly the highest, Creator, because I bring all of their I bring their messages to you. So maybe I can hide all of their spirits up in the clouds, up in the air. And the animals thought, well, that would work, because how can anything fly other than the birds? And Creator said, no, one day the two-leggeds will discover a way to touch the clouds to fly. And then the waters said, well, what about Grandmother Moon? Grandmother Moon could hide their spirits. And Creator thought, well, that would make it really difficult. But eventually, one day, the two-leggeds will reach the moon. And so all of the animals thought and thought and thought. And then the tiniest little animal, the mouse, who was very, very humble, she came to Creator and she said, Creator, I know the perfect place that we can hide their spirits, that they will never find them unless they actually work for them. And they are meant to find them. And Creator thought, okay, mouse, what is your idea? And the little mouse said, we could hide their spirits within them. And then the only ones that would be able to find their spirits are their own. And so Creator thought, and he thought, what a brilliant idea. The people would have to work to find their own spirits. And they couldn't find it by accident. They couldn't find it by stumbling upon it. But they would be able to find it through prayer and intention and ceremony. And so Creator agreed. And this is why our spirits are within us. And so that is the story of how we got our spirits and where they are. Woo. So I'm going to actually share the Creator song, which is a song that was passed along to me through my friend Elizabeth Potskin. I'm very, very thankful. But what was really interesting about this song is as soon as I heard it, I felt like I knew it. And then, of course, I learned it perfectly within like a couple days of practice. But when I went to visit my great aunt, she is in a specialized facility because she can't do a lot for herself because she's getting to that age. But I started drumming and singing this song for her, and she started singing with me. And I was just amazed. I was like, Auntie, how do you know this song? She's like, well, how do you know this song? This is our family song. This is our family song. Where did you find it? And it's just amazing how, when you're on the right path, the things that are meant for you will come to you, whether they be songs, whether they be the people that keep resurfacing when we're on the right path, or whether it just be the gifts that we have to gift. It will keep coming through us when we're on the right path. So, that being said, I'm going to share the Creator song. The reason I rep my drum in a circle 4 times is just to honor the spirit of the drum and to just get her warmed up, but also say that I'm here. It's about a relationship that I have with my drum, and I respect and honor her very, very much. just community, and the community bird song that had come through me. It was part of a project that I did with the Weaselhead wild constructs with the Weaselhead Park. So the Weaselhead has a lot of special significance to me. The Weaselhead River twists through Tsutsuna, and it goes through like a local park. Now it's a park, but before it was just land. So just like when we talk about natural resources, we're like, land, that's what it is. It's where we live. It's how we honor, Mother Earth. It's, home to all of us. And we need to view it as that, not as an item, but as a living, breathing part of us. And I think that's when we're going to actually see progress towards making the world a better place, is when we understand that everything has a spirit, everything has a life, and everything has lessons for us. And if we take all of those lessons out of play, if we get rid of land, how are we ever going to learn? So we need to be able to do that. But with the Weaselhead, there's just such beautiful power there. There's this, it's just teeming with life at any given time, microscopic and like bigger life too. But I used to go there to in Tsutsuna to pick sweetgrass, because the beavers would be there and they would back up the water. And whenever I was there, not only was I paying attention to the beavers, like slapping their tails at me, getting mad, like trying to like assert their territory, and then they're like, oh no, she's just picking medicine, that's fine. And then they just ignore me, except when their little one would try to swim over to me and then be curious, and then the mom would of course like slap her tail and get mad and then just pull him back. It was quite cute. But when we were out in the Weaselhead, I was just hearing all of the birds, and it was a symphony. And that's the one thing that I always hear and I always recognize. Even if I'm just going for a quick jaunt to my car, I always stop and I listen, and I hear how the community talks to each other, how the birds talk to each other, and how they respect and honor their place. It doesn't mean that they're not going to argue, especially those magpies, because man, those guys are annoying and they get in everybody's face. But it's really about drawing people together through community and recognizing that every voice has value. And when this song came through me, it was on the back of the blue jay. And the blue jay to me has always symbolized, my spirit. It's always been community. It's been my spirit guide whenever I'm in a challenging situation. I'll just go outside, and usually when I'm thinking of the right thing to do, I'll hear the blue jay call, and I'm like, oh, there we are. This is the right path for me. But they are incredible. They are incredible birds. So they'll warn other birds and other animals if there's a predator coming. They will actually step into nests that have been abandoned, or where their parents have died, and they'll actually start taking care of those eggs in addition to their own. And they can actually copy the sounds, the warbles and different things of different birds, so that that particular bird will learn how to speak for itself, which is super incredible. They just are astonishing to me. And what I love about them too is, even though they look blue, they're actually not. They're brown. But they have like this little filament on their feathers which reflects the light, which makes it look blue. So it's actually iridescent, but it's not actually blue. They actually have brown feathers. And so they teach us that we're not always what we seem. And there's a lot more happening under the surface. And the only way that we can learn that is through community, is through connecting with each other and really listening to each other's voices, what we have to say. And so this is the ancestral bird song, if I can remember it. Nope, I can't remember it apparently. One moment. Okay, it's not coming to me, so I'm just gonna sing the chickadee song. I'm gonna sing the chickadee song all the way through. Usually I do it as a call and response, because it's the chickadee calling out and you're calling back. The chickadee, of course, tells us about honoring each other's voices as well. Most of the bird songs that we have are about honoring our voices, honoring the voices of our ancestors, but also honoring the voices of ourselves and everyone within our community, because that's when we can truly find that peace. That's when we can come together and make those changes that are necessary in our community. But every voice needs to be heard. This is why our grandmothers were always in charge, because they made sure that every voice was heard and nobody got left behind in those conversations. Everybody has a stake in community, so everyone should have a say in community. So yeah, I'm gonna sing the Chickadee song. So I wanted to sing the I Love You song because that's been in my head a lot. So sometimes when I'm trying to think of one song, there's like 10 other songs that'll be like, nope, sing me instead. And I always say whatever's meant to be shared will be shared. And so I'm going to share the I Love You song. This is the only Blackfoot song I know. I want to learn more Blackfoot songs just because I am living in Blackfoot territory. I'd also love to learn Tsuut'ina songs and Stoney songs because I think it's important to share and reflect the place that you are. And how better to do that than with the songs and the stories of this place, and knowing and acknowledging where those stories have come from. And so when I share the songs and the stories, it just adds a sense of place when you talk about where they're from. So this song is from my friend Sandra and also from my friend Stephanie. Both of them have taught me this song. And it's a song from Olivia Tailfeathers, and so it's now being taught in schools, which I think is so beautiful and so brilliant. And it's just such an incredible thing when you hear little kids singing traditional songs and they love it, and it makes sense to them because it's a sense of connection, and it's easy to learn a lot of these songs because there's just this inherent natural, way of learning when we share stories and songs together. And of course, kids love that. They're sponges. They love it. Are you kidding? If it's not like, we never really had writing per se, but we learned a lot, which I think is so important. This is why oral traditions and oral storytelling. So this song, it's Gitzigakumen Na'a, and I sing it to everyone, and then I sing it to Na'a, which is Mother Earth, and then I sing it to Gitzigakumen, because I love where I live and I appreciate the land that I'm on, and then to everyone again. So it's just about really creating our sense of community, our sense of connection, our sense of place, and our sense of honoring the earth that we're on. And so the song is Gitzigakumen, and I sing it this weekend just to honor all the people that we have lost. So, this is Gitzigakumen. So, my favorite part about the Valentine's Day Memorial March was the fact that a lot of people did make it out in spite of the weather. But it was singing together, singing and drumming together. There's such power in that. And it really does create this sense of community. And I want to thank the gentlemen's group that came out. They call themselves AIM Alberta, and that's their drum group name. And they were fantastic, and I'm so thankful, because I think it's the men that really need to step up in our communities and say, violence against women is not all right. Violence in any circumstance is not all right, and it's when we can teach our boys how to step into those roles of balance and of accountability. That's truly what's going to shape and mold those future generations. Teaching women that we have, power, that we have a sense of responsibility to our future generations, to our past generations, but also that, we have value, we're valuable. And unfortunately, our society commodifies human beings, and that's not okay. So we need to step out of that and step into our spirits. And I was really reminded that when we were singing all together, and it didn't matter, that we were from different nations. What mattered is the purpose that we were there for, which was to honor those that we have lost, and to honor their spirit, and to honor their stories, and to honor their families, and to honor each other in that circle, and know that we have value, and the work that we're doing is important. And it was quite a cold day, but and we only had one media crew come, but there was another event happening at the same time, which was also Indigenous related. And I think it's important that we need to come together as a community and honor each other's spaces, but also support each other. And so, if it wasn't at the same time, I know I would have been there, but unfortunately, it was at the same time as this event, so I couldn't be there. But yeah, we need to just really coordinate and get rid of lateral violence because it doesn't help anybody. So this is, yeah, I wanted to sing the healing song again. I think it's so important. Because it does give us a sense of we need to come together as a community to heal. We need to heal ourselves because that's where true work happens. You have to be able to be a healthy person yourself to be able to help the community. You have to be able to be helped yourself before you can help anyone else. This is why when you're on an airplane and they're like explaining, when the masks fall down, put a mask on yourself first and then help your children or whoever you need to help. Because if you are unconscious, you're going to be no help to anybody. So it's really about knowing that it's important. You got to take care of you so that you can take care of everyone else. Being said, this is the healing song. It's also called the crying song or the wailing song. This is a Cree song, and I heard it through many, many different elders in ceremony, and when we sing it, it's sung as a heartbeat, and heartbeat is like that prayer beat or that honor beat. It's the heartbeat of Mother Earth that connects each and every one of us because we all have those heartbeats. It teaches us about that pulse that's important, and it teaches us that our tears are important. It's okay to let them go. This is the crying song for a reason. It's also honoring that we have to pray for ourselves. We have to pray for not only everything around us, but everything within us. And so when we sing this song, we sing it, of course, in rounds of 4. But the third round, we actually stop drumming. And in that silence, that's where we set those intentions, whether they be prayers, and you can pray to many different, whoever you pray to, whether it be God, Allah, Buddha, Creator, the universe, the big spaghetti monster in the sky, whoever it is. It's just setting those intentions and setting that energy. And then when that drum comes in, it's letting that energy go to the universe to do the work that it needs to do. Whether it be helping someone to pass gently, or whether it be helping someone to heal and get through hard times. And that could be mental healing, it could be physical healing, it can be emotional healing, but it can also be spiritual healing. And just coming together, knowing that we have to be healed as a whole being and not just bits and pieces. The problem with traditional medicine treats everything, but westernized medicine, it doesn't look at the whole picture. It doesn't see, our spirit's hurting. This is why I'm seeing these physical issues in my body, or my emotions are hurting. So this is what's leading me down this path of, mental illness. And so we have to look at that whole being, that whole person, and recognize the value of every aspect of ourselves to be able to heal fully and completely. And this song helps us to do that. It helps us to honor all of those pieces, all of those parts of our being, all of those parts of our society, and all of those people around us, those that are that have left us, but also those future generations yet to be born. And so, this is the healing song. Way high, way high, oh. Hey, 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 oh. Way high, way high, way high, oh. Way high, way high, way high, oh. Way high, way high, oh. song before I take off. The song that I love to share that it came back finally. I learned it originally through my elder Sharon Turner, and then I thought it was lost. When I lost her, it was like that song went. But then, a few years ago, it came back through my friends Ashley and Yolanda, and I was so thankful and humbled, and all of the memories and the beautiful things and the teachings that Sharon had kind of instilled on me, those came through as well, and I was so thankful for that experience. So now it just makes sense to close with this song, because this is a traveling song. It teaches us that no matter where we go, all roads lead home, but sometimes we need to have those journeys to learn about who we are. And home is where you make it. So some people, we have struggles with our family, but our friends become our family, and our community is our family if we let it be. It teaches us that we need to be open to do the work that we need to do to be able to enrich the lives of ourselves, but everyone else around us. It teaches us that, that path ahead of us, it's not that stone. We can choose whether we want the easy path or the hard path, but it's really about listening to our ancestors and the direction that they are leading us in. Yeah, it's about being home and to the journey ahead, and may you all arrive safely. So this is the traveling song, and it's Anishinaabe. And again, I'm very thankful that it's come back into my life. And I hope that everyone has a beautiful week ahead. Now, here in Malkinstis, now that it's not as cold, hooray! So, a little bit more walking involved. So this is the traveling song. Awesome. Thank you guys so much, Chimuguch, everyone. Hi for joining me this week. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who was at the Valentine's Day Memorial March this weekend. Really appreciate all of you, and it was so good to see so many of you. And yeah, just in spite of it being cold, it was still a good turnout, which I was so thankful for. And those messages and the women that we carried with her, we could feel them. They were definitely there. So it felt a lot more crowded, even though we were social distanced. So hi everyone. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful week. And yeah, love you all. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.